Yo, what is good? Is your boy Geek. We are back with a video. Look, I know I've been slacking, bruh. All 168 of you, however many subscribers I got, just come beat me up, bro. Just come beat me up. Come beat my ass because I'm not uploading. But until then, I'm going to upload so I don't have to get my ass beat. But look, we're going to be reacting to the top 10 worst finishers in WWE history. I'm not going to lie. When I can name off the top, that's probably like a bad finisher, but I wouldn't mind it being done on me. It's probably like the rear view. I know I was going to say Miami. Naomi does it, but Bailey, if you're watching, you can do that to me. Let's get into it.
When watching WWE, we ideally want to have our disbelief suspended for every second of action between the bells. However, sometimes that simply isn't possible or is just plain ruined due to what a WWE star ends the match with. A bad finisher can be nonsensical, look like it wouldn't hurt a fly, or stretch believability and credibility beyond breaking point. And sometimes it can be all of the above, as some of these finishing move offenders demonstrate. And since there's so much guff to choose from, we'd be remiss if we didn't give a dishonorable mention to Naomi's rear view, the Goon's cross-check, the Great Khali's giant chop to the head, Battle Cat's thing that he did, Vladimir Kozlov's battering ram, Ricky Ortiz's big splash, and the Mountie's two-handed chokeslam. Well done, you're all crap. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 worst WWE finishers. Join us. Number 10, WMD. Because of his massive size, pretty much everything the Big Show did looked impressive. The world's largest athlete.
Look, before we go, I don't know how I feel about this because, I mean, Big Show is he's a big dude. I can see how a punch from him could knock you out and be a finisher. But the other thing to it is, like, why wouldn't you just, use it during the match? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why don't you just punch him in the face like how other people punch him? That's the only problem with it. And then the second thing I don't like, I wouldn't say I don't like, but like Logan Paul does it. I mean, Big Show's is more believable. I don't know if this should be like one of the worst finishers, but it's kind of hard to believe if you're, you know what I'm saying? Why not just knock him out as soon as the bell comes on? Like, you feel me?
He typically used a chokeslam to finish off his opponent, save for a relatively brief period where he used the final cut, but in the early 2010s, he drastically switched things up. Show started using the WMD, aka the weapon of mass destruction, which was a simple, good old-fashioned punch to the jaw. Now, I'm not going to try and pretend that getting smacked in the face by a man the size of Paul White wouldn't hurt. It would probably hurt me a bit, and your face would likely shatter into 1,000 tiny pieces.
Look
but
how
like,
big this
seriously, a punch to the face. That's what we're ending the match with now, is it? Not only are closed fists supposedly illegal, but why on earth does Show spend 5, 10, or even 15 minutes farting about with the pretense of having a wrestling match if he possesses such incredible knockout power? The WMD was a good idea in theory and looked decent if the person receiving it sold it well, but this was a swing and a miss for me, I'm afraid. Number 9, the dress code. Back in 2004, WWE implemented a dress code for talent which insisted they wear business casual clothes when traveling to and from events and making public appearances on behalf of the company. In 2006, dress-wearing wannabe wise guy Big Vito introduced the WWE Universe to his very own dress code. I really wish he had just stuck with slacks and a nice shirt. Wearing the ladies' garment was fine, each to their own and all that, but the way he used it to perform his rotten submission finisher left a lot to be desired. For it, Vito would take his seated opponents, put their head under his dress so that they came face to face with his thong-clad crotch, and then put on a Kimura-type hold while jumping up and down excitedly, which, made it look like he was shagging their head. To be fair, I would likely tap out if my face was getting dry humped by Mr. LaGrasso, but this finisher was simply pants, which is ironic considering Vito didn't wear any. Number 8.
Nah, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. 1, Vince is wild, but like 2, bro, like, say I'm a wrestler, bro. It's my dream to be in a WWE game. I ain't gonna lie, that's fake disrespectful, bro. Like, he might have to get after the match, bro. You know what I'm saying? Girl, he might gotta get the trays for a second, just cause, like, bro, you're putting my head under your dress, bro, and you're basically face, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what he's doing? Nah, bro,
Starship Pain.
Go for that.
John Morrison is one of the most spectacularly athletic wrestlers in WWE history and frequently incorporated gymnastics and parkour into his innovative offensive arsenal. The Shaman of Sexy's first finisher as a solo star was a standing flipping neckbreaker, which came to be known as the Moonlight Drive. Which was fine, of course, but Jomo evidently wanted something a lot flashier. Enter the Starship Pain, a split-legged corkscrew moonsault that on paper must have seemed like a great idea.
It looks good.
Unfortunately, Morrison didn't always hit the move cleanly. In fact, I would say a solid 7 out of 10 times the tough enough winner would come close to either doing himself or his opponent in for real. When he did hit it perfectly, it was a thing of beauty, but more often than not, he wouldn't get enough of a rotation or be off in his aim, resulting in an awkward landing. Other times, he would miss by a mile and barely graze the intended target, which I'm sure was preferable to them getting a pair of knees or an elbow in the face. Number 7, the Lightning Fist. A lot had been made of John Cena having 5 moves of doom, 2 of which were his attitude adjustment and STF finishers. As finishers, the AA and STF were certainly over with the crowd and got the job done, but were hardly up there with some of the finishers that other all-time greats used to rack up wins. In 2018, the now part-time Big Match John decided to add a 6th move of doom, and this one would be the doomiest of all. Sorry, no, I meant dumbest of all. Cena debuted the Lightning Fist in a tag match at that year's Super Showdown after running through his usual comeback routine of shoulder blocks, spinning sit-out slam, 5-knuckle shuffle, and AA. The Lightning Fist, or Shandy and Quanto if you prefer, came from training with Jackie Chan's stunt team while Cena was preparing for a movie in China, a nation the man himself wanted to show respect to with the move. So it should have been cool, but it looked like the 16-time world champion was just taking the piss by doing something ludicrous to pop the boys.
Yeah, see, no, you know what I'm saying? My GOAT was just out here trying shit. Like, I know that clip of LeBron, like he in a barbershop talking, like he showed a barbershop. He was like, Game 6 in Boston. He said, I was just trying shit. He said, bump fade one leg. Like, he said, I'm not even a bump fade leg type of guy. Like, you feel me? That's what John's out here doing, bro. He just trying shit because he's the GOAT. Like, you feel me? Just got too easy. John just out here trying shit, you feel me?
Which, to be fair, he may well have been. Number 6, the Bailey to Belly. Ultra bubbly, beloved babyface.
I'm not even, like, y'all know I'm not talking about the move. Maybe I should talk about the move, but look at what I'm looking at, bro. Sheesh.
Ace Bailey liked to hug people. A whole lot, in fact. They called her the hugger and everything. And so it sort of makes sense that her finisher of choice would involve the act of hugging her opponent. Thankfully, it wasn't a hug the way that WCW's Yeti liked to do, but a quick embrace followed by a suplex. The Bailey to Belly was a belly-to-belly suplex. Yeah, that's it. It's a standard move that sees her lift an opponent up, turn slightly, and then drop them to the mat from a reasonable distance. It's the same move that Big E and Rhino were using during their comebacks at the time Bailey was using it on the main roster, only she was doing it to win championship matches. There's nothing wrong with a safe finisher, and Bailey could do the move on anyone, but it hardly ever looked good and was one of the weakest finishers on TV at the time. And that's a shame because Bailey was such a fiery babyface and garnered such vocal support during matches that you almost expected her to use something with a lot more bite, like, you know, the rose plant. Number 5, trip to the Batcave. There were very few redeeming qualities to Bastion Booger. Actually, wait, scrap that. There were no redeeming qualities to Bastion Booger. The name, his behavior in skits and segments, that ring attire, it was all designed to repulse, and WWE did a good job of that. Such a grotesque character naturally had a disgusting way of ending matches. Booger would stand above his downed opponent's face, shake around with some weird little dance, and then simply drop down with the old knob to face. It wasn't particularly impactful, despite Mike Shaw's massive frame, but I do...
Like I said before... Bro, like... So nasty, bro. Like I said before, bro. But, bro, look. Like, hold on, bro.
Not to face.
Look at this image, bro. Look at this image, bro. If that's me, and that's some dude, I'm a wrestler, bro. Somebody's got to get it, bro. You're either going to get these fists or you're going to get that medal, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's crazy. You're putting something on my chin, bro.
particularly impactful despite
That's
Mike
crazy,
Shaw's
bro.
massive frame, but I do admit that I wouldn't get up or appear in public for that matter after visiting the so-called Batcave. I know Booger was a lower card novelty act that was essentially designed to humiliate Shaw, but his finisher was the teabag, folks. I mean, at least when other super heavyweights like Earthquake or Yokozuna used their girth to sit on their opponents, there was a bit more oomph behind it. The trip to the Batcave was, like much of this era of WWE, cartoonish nonsense that we would all do well to erase from our collective memory. Number 4, the Playmaker. A few WWE stars used the move commonly known as the Overdrive, which Randy Orton called the Ozone and Carlito referred to as, "This is rubbish, I need to do something much better." But it's most closely associated with MVP, who labeled it the Playmaker. The gist of the move is that the giver takes his doubled over opponents, places the back of their right knee over the back of the head, grabs the right arm and then twists their knee and pulls the arm at the same time, sending the recipient spinning into a back bump. Honestly, it was every bit as convoluted as it sounds, and was another finisher where, if it came off well, fine, but a lot of times it just didn't, and timing issues could often make it hard for it to come together in synchronicity. Oh, and if Montel tried to do it on someone bigger, like Kane, it would turn out to be really sloppy. It seems the man himself became aware of how inconsistent it was at some point and switched it to a much easier jumping flatliner he dubbed the play of the day. Number 3, the atomic leg drop. During the height of Hulkamania, Hulk Hogan could have finished his matches with a noogie, and the millions of Hulkamaniacs would have lapped it up. Everything about the Hulkster was over, and he had his crowd-friendly routine down to an exact science. This included his final comeback, where he would Hulk up, hit his feckless foe with a few big big haymakers, send them off the ropes, big boot, and then secure the inevitable victory with the atomic leg drop. And that's all well and good in the 1980s, brother, but as we moved into the early 90s, and then the mid-90s, and then the late 90s, the humble leg drop began to seem a bit passé. I mean, it was something people did during the start or middle of a match, not something that would register a convincing near fall or put an opponent down for the counts. Hey, maybe Hogan had the heaviest leg in the history of pro wrestling, I don't know, but the man himself has even expressed regret at his finisher choice, wishing that he would have chosen something like a sleeper to both emphasize those famous pythons and save himself a few back and hip surgeries too. Hey, when it comes crashing down, it really does hurt inside, eh, Terry? Number 2, the Cobra. Professional wrestling doesn't have to be super serious all the time, and there's plenty of room for comedy in WWE. I mean, it's usually excruciatingly bad, unfunny comedy, but still, there's room for it. Santino Marella made a career out of acting the clown and was typically entertaining in his matches, segments, and interviews. And it was really no surprise to see the Milan Miracle come up with an eye-rolling finisher that turned into a PG-rated merchandise machine. The Cobra saw Santino, it saw him turn his arm into a pretend snake, which would then strike and bite his opponent on the neck. Before long, he added a colourful sleeve that he would pull out and put on prior, a la Mick Foley and Mr. Socko. Amazingly, this piece of pantomime was heavily protected, and only 2 people, Daniel Bryan and Sheamus, ever kicked out of the Cobra. Hey, the move was over, which is really what counts at the end of the day, but it's beyond farcical that something like that would render the mighty JTG into a seizure state. Oh, bollocks, I still love it though. Number 1, the Worm. Speaking of silliness that was incredibly over, there was a lot of it during the Attitude Era. You had a 450-pound Samoan sumo wrestler rubbing his backside in people's faces, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, winning matches with the most overblown elbow drop of all time, and you had the Worm. That's spelled W-O-R-M, in case you'd forgotten. Too Cool, Scotty Too Hotty, and Grandmaster Sexay were one of the most popular acts of the day, thanks in large part to their association with Rikishi and post-match dance routine. Another thing that fans just couldn't wait to see was the Worm, which saw Scotty hitting a bulldog before, worming his way across the ring and dropping a chop to the throat. It started out as a mid-match house show spot before making its way to television and soon becoming the cultural phenomenon we...
Point is, it's a bad move. Probably the worst finisher, bro. Top 3 is definitely those 2 ones where, the one with the dress, bro, where he was putting your head under the dress and basically, you know what I'm saying, you was giving him that work down there. And then 2, the Welcome to the Batcave, that's nasty, bro. 3 probably the worst real finisher, bro. Playmaker, bro. Nah. Nah. Yeah, terrible looking move, but like Starship Pain shouldn't have been on there. But anyways, in the comments below, what are some finishers that are not on this list that are pretty bad? And maybe let me know, I guess, your favorite finisher. And let me know what videos I should keep coming with. Like, comment, subscribe. Gonna be more consistent. Look at me. You see it. You hear it. Now you're clicking off. Bye-bye.